Knon 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people.
Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. KNON's been named the #1 radio station in Dallas by both the Dallas Observer and D Magazine. Put your business with Dallas's #1 station. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227, or extension 233. For more information, go to knon.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.
We'd like to say good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Church of Information in Open Forum. I'm Marian Barnett, your host. We each and every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on Knon 89.3 FM, the voice of the people. Liv is producing, and we got a lot of things going on. We got a lot of things on the plate, and we'll get to them. We're going to talk about several things that's going on with the Dallas Independent School District. And I say independent, there are those who don't want it to be independent. They want us to be dependent on them using our money. And we're going to talk about the big march coming up soon. We'll be making a formal announcement in about a week or so. Tell you the time, date, and place, march and rally. Also, we have a couple of gentlemen here in the studio. We'll be hearing from them in 1 second. But right now, the what is she? Publicity, fashion, the media person for the Dallas and for the NAACP is Miss Danielle Esposito. Miss Esposito, are you there?
Hi.
Hello.
Pastor Barnett, Danielle Esposito, media spokesperson for the Dallas branch NAACP. How are you this morning?
I'm fine. How are you?
I am excellent.
Wonderful.
I wanted to take this opportunity to introduce the two young men to your listening audience that's there in the studio. I had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Antonio Wingfield and Mr. Darnell Sanders at the NAACP membership branch meeting. They are the producers of an amazing play called The Awakening. Now, I had the opportunity to attend the play on March 9th at the Majestic Theater, and I was truly blown away. I believe this is a play that everyone should see, but especially a must-see for the African-American community. Now, the next play is on April 13th, and that, again, will be at the Majestic, and I encourage everyone to try to attend. It's truly life-changing, and, again, I believe every African-American should see this play. Now, I know they're there in your studio, and, again, I just wanted to call in and take the time to introduce them and give my kudos to the play, and it's just truly a masterpiece. So I'll go ahead and turn it back over to you, Pastor Barnett. I thank you for that opportunity, and everyone have an awesome and blessed day.
All righty. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. It's Antonio and Darnell. Who's Antonio?
I'm Antonio. Good morning. I'm Darnell. Good morning.
All right. Is the name of the play the Fashion Opera, or what is the name?
The name of the play is actually The Awakening. It's being presented.
Awakening.
It's being presented by the Fashion Opera, which is our company.
Okay. All righty. And what is the play? Just to whet our appetite a little bit.
It is a journey. It is a journey of exploring the power of images and words, and how the power of images and words have affected our communities over time. And it actually explains how collections of words and images can either come to create a strong community, or they can break a community. And the play also reveals that the solutions are rooted in this collection of images and words.
Images and words.
Yes.
All right. A picture's worth 1,000 words.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So when I say angel food cake, I normally think white.
certain images will come to mind when you think of
Devil
angel
food cake, I think black.
Yes, absolutely.
Images and words.
Yes, yes, and they can be very dangerous. The show deals with a lot of symbolism. Like when you think of angel food cake, and it's something like that, you're thinking, well, it's no harm done. Mm-hmm. But if you, for example, if every time you hear the color black and you happen to call yourself black, and every time you hear the color black, it's spoken of in a negative manner. Mm-hmm. Well, you're bound to begin to think of yourself in a negative way, if only subconsciously.
Well, yeah, sometimes it's consciously after it's gone on for so long. Mm-hmm. And you say, what are some of the images that you see?
One of the things that you will see a lot of imagery as it relates to our hair, as it relates to glamour, as it relates to love, as it relates to communication, as it relates to the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you look at each other. Imagery is so much more than it's a photo, but it's also the way you pass each other. It's so many things, and even the way a kid sees a community engage with each other. It plants a seed, and even it plants a seed in not just the children, but the elders, the teenagers, the people of your own age. Images are vast.
What about dialects?
Even dialects. It deals with the way we speak with each other. There are many people. There are many backgrounds of blacks in the show. We have people who represent Uganda. We have people who represent the Caribbean. America, of course. And it explores how we're all connected. It's very important to see how we're all connected.
Now, if I had a French dialect in America, that's considered beautiful.
Absolutely.
What about a Nigerian dialect?
Absolutely. And it shows how, and I'm glad you mentioned those different things, because the awakening shows how we're all over the world. And the show is built on what I call the equation of beauty. The equation of beauty is an equation that I personally came up with in my journey as a designer.
Is it long hair, blonde hair, light skinned? Is that your standard of beauty?
No. And what you find is the equation of beauty has no standard. There's standards of beauty.
No, there's a standard in America.
Well, there are standards.
There's a standard even in black America. Yes. That we stand against each other.
Absolutely.
When it comes to beauty.
Yes. And what the show does, it makes a distinction between standards of beauty and beauty itself.
Right.
And the argument that I'm making with the show is that they're distinctively different. That standards of beauty actually takes you away from beauty. Because real beauty, true beauty, you don't measure it against anyone else. And that's why the show, I say it's built on the equation of beauty, because if you look at the definition of the term beauty, beauty is defined as that which is pleasing to the eyes and the senses, which is, sight and smell and taste.
And everybody sees differently.
Yes, everybody sees differently, but the way that you see can be influenced by a collection of words and images. So the question I ask everyone in the audience is, take a look at your equation. How has your equation been affected by images and words, and whose images and words have
Personally,
been affected?
let me ask you something. What's the little young lady that played in 12 Years a Slave?
Oh, Lupita.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lupita. I get so many different, and I ask kids on the daycare, I ask kids about.
Yes.
Some say, oh, no, she's ugly. And I've had one or two say she is so beautiful. How can people look at the same thing, same person, and see something so far different?
Because their eyes are owned by a different equation. Some people have an equation that's been influenced by one thing. Some people have an equation that's influenced by another. And some people's equation is a reflection because they're detached from themselves. Some people's equation is rooted in hate or self-hate.
For themselves.
Yes, absolutely. And you're likely to hate
guess
anything.
what?
Yeah.
Guess who the ones who seem to don't care for her looks? They resemble her.
Absolutely.
and those who are lighter skin and, what they call everybody, seem to think is just the ultimate, they think she's beautiful. What Did this all come out of slavery? What is it? What comes with this?
Well, of course, slavery, imperialism, colonization, white supremacy. It's a long, vast list of histories across the globe that have affected not only blacks but people of color in general. Like if you go to Asia, it's the same type of issues.
But still, the color caste system, even in Asia, any of the other countries, even African countries also, there is a color caste.
Absolutely.
And at the top white, then mulatto, and on back down to all the way to the black person is the lowest person on the totem pole. How did that come about?
In time. And it starts with, it's a combination of belief systems. It's a combination of religious beliefs. There are some people who have actually religions that are centered around caste systems. Where they believe that they are ordained. Certain groups are ordained by God to be at the top of the totem pole.
But the only thing about that is that plays against us.
Yes.
But biblically, it would play in our favor. Because people don't know the Bible, don't know who the true descendants of Abraham really were or who they are today. They think that the descendants of Abraham were these people who came from Greece. And they were descendants of Ashkenaz. They are known as Ashkenazis. They went up to northern Europe in 70 A.D. after the dispersion, when the Romans came down and slaughtered tens of thousands and millions of people. The African that was the descendant of Abraham went into Ethiopia, Egypt, west coast of Africa, and different places. But when we see how the Ashkenazis went into Europe and mixed with a group called the Khazars, and they became a great nation, a great empire. Even they protected Europe from becoming Islam. But the true descendants born of Abraham went into the west coast of Africa, mixed in there. Years later, centuries later, they were brought to America.
And I'd like to add...
And see, people don't really know biblical history. That would play in our favor. I don't think anything should play in anybody's favor when it comes to color, because God made us all. But if you're going to play that game, if we knew our history, we win. Because we were the true descendants of Abraham. And see, there's so many myths and lies have gone down through the years that the Bible don't teach.
And I'd like to add to what you're saying. Another part of it has to do with symbolism. If you look at the history, and a part of my inspiration for the awakening was based on my history as a designer, learning about the history of beauty and history of fashion. And if you go through different cultures, so much of their belief systems were based on symbolism. And a part of the symbolism with dark skin and light skin had to do with, depending on the technology of the time, based on who is doing the labor on the outside, in the fields or in the sun during those days, that meant that you were the lower caste because you got darker. If you were in the house, you were said to be, you would be lighter.
Yeah, but at the same time, most of the time that one who was in the house was the head man's son, the buyer slave. Let's tell the truth about that whole situation. There were a lot of things that have gone on down through the years. You know, the house nigga and the field nigga. It would just tell it like it is. And they would, the house nigga, a lot of times, was a man's son or daughter that ran the house, that owned the plantation. So, yes, that was a system that brought forth things that have really... it hampers us until this day, because we are so divisive with one another. We can just look at one another and hate one another for no reason at all, because of what we've been taught, subliminally in most cases.
And see, that's a lot of what the show explores. We're going through that throughout the show. We started you from, you know, just it's a whimsical journey. You know, it was over 300 costumes in the production, and we are going through that in an entertaining way for our audience.
And very celebratory, because I wanted to tell a story that We do go into slavery. We do go into some very hard topics. But I also want to tell it from the perspective of showing the greatness through it all. The collective is great. The collective of it, as ugly as it gets, there's still something so great and so beautiful about a people who push forward, who continue.
Now, you're a big, tall guy.
Yes.
When you go get on the elevator, white woman on the elevator, does she grasp her purse?
I'm going to be honest with you. I really never pay attention.
You never paid attention?
I really don't pay attention, and that's...
I do.
Yeah, I really don't.
I do. I can go, if it's a white woman, a couple white women on the first, I walk on the elevator, I act like I'm not even finished. But they grasp their purse and hold on tight, you know.
Yeah. And I've observed it, though. I have observed it.
And, you know, this is how ridiculous it is. Good chance I had more money than they did. But there are so many stereotypes of us that everybody, you know, people just, even black people don't trust black people. I see people get terrified if they meet a group of 3 or 4 boys coming down the street, kids coming down, they get terrified. Kids not even thinking about them. They may be saying some risque things, just doing things, but they're not thinking about them. They're terrified. They're terrified of just
the negative generalization.
Yeah, the negative generalization of really what's going on in our society when so much of it is so far from the truth.
Yeah. Yes.
And there's one part in the show where we're talking about like, for me, I play a pastor in the show. And you know, the pastor, he has a message, you know, that he delivers to his congregation. And I like to say it now, if that's okay. Okay. All right. So, last Sunday morning, you said a little prayer, and I said a little prayer for you. And by Sunday evening, you gathered around the dinner table, reflecting on my sermon. You said, Pastor preached, God is good. But by the end of the day, your principles seemed to have flown right out of the window. See, you could barely make it out of the church parking lot before your words became nasty, self-righteous, and hateful. Now, I don't judge. I'm not the one to judge. I don't judge. I'm not the one to judge. I don't judge. I'm not the one to judge. I don't judge, I am not the one to judge. But ain't it funny how you can sit in a church on Sunday morning and worship God with your own people, but by Monday morning you tell the world why you don't want to live near your own people. By Tuesday morning you tell the world why you don't want to do business with your own people. And by Wednesday morning you tell the world why you don't want to live near a bunch of niggas. Can I get a witness? Yes. Now, I don't judge, I'm not the one to judge. I don't judge, I'm not the one to judge. I don't judge, I am not the one to judge. I don't judge, I'm not the one to judge. Let's talk about Thursday. On Thursday, you forgot to shut your shades, and I saw everything. I saw all sorts of things. You were there having a party surrounded by your white friends. Yes, white friends. Woohoo! Ain't it interesting how a lot of black people suddenly change when a white person walks into the room? Like a split personality, you put your best foot forward. You try and put your best English forward. You try and put your best wardrobe forward. You even change your posture and become dignified, walking on eggshells. Shh. The white people are coming. But ain't it interesting how you can suddenly become polite and attempt to become super duper professional? Good morning. Good day. Hello. How may I help you? You'll even make an attempt to be on time. But around your own people, you don't seem to give a damn. And always late, with faces scrunching with anger and resentment. Suspicious, looking for something to go wrong, waiting for something to go wrong. It's as if you can almost smell, yes, when something's about to go wrong. Can I get a witness?
All right, Reverend. We're up against a short break, and you can call us. I'll take some calls next segment. 972-647-1893. You're on with Antonio and Donnell. We'll be right back. All right, we're back on Church Information and Open Forum. I'm Marian Barnett, your host. Liv is producing, and we have a couple of young men here in the studio. Y'all introduce yourself, Darnell and Antonio. Again, tell your roles.
My name's Antonio Wingfield, and I'm the writer and costume designer and one of the producers and directors for The Awakening.
And my name is Darnell Sanders. I'm one of the producers and directors, and I play a pastor in the stage show, The Awakening.
Antonio Wingfield, I've heard that name before. What have you done?
I was a fashion designer for nearly 20 years, and I took a detour because I became conflicted with my profession, and I wanted to discover why that was, and I went off into writing. I decided to write about my journey and what I discovered about beauty, and I realized the power of images and words and how it is uplifting some and destroying others.
All right. And you can call us at 972-647-1893 if you'd like to join this conversation. Let's go to line 4 and say good morning to Tamika. All righty?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, Tamika.
Good morning. Oh, my goodness, I'm so glad I'm through. I actually saw this play, and wow, the clothes, oh, my goodness, it was just so beautiful, but that's not why I called. I was just really trying to call because, like, the message that I actually got from the play was, I guess, slightly different than what y'all were speaking about this morning, because I know y'all touched about slaves and rights and stuff, but the message I got was more about how people can hate themselves.
Yes.
You know, that's really what and I do hair. I'm a hairstylist, and I was doing one of my clients' daughter's hair one day, and my client, she left out the room, and her daughter looked up at me, and this was shortly thereafter I saw the play, and she said, "Why does my hair have to be so ugly?" And it almost brought me to tears, you know, because like after, you know, because I was fresh from the play, you know, and I was like, it's an amazing production, by the way, so I want to encourage you. If you have not seen this play, then you should definitely go there. Y'all have a show coming up in April?
April 13th.
Yes, April 13th. It's a Sunday at 4 o'clock at the Majestic Theater.
Tamika, let me ask you, what type of hair does this little girl have?
Oh, she's African-American.
And it was African-American hair?
Absolutely. I actually do all types of hair. I do straight, I do kinky curl, I do everything. But the little girl, it touched on some sensitive spots, you know, because like for one, we're talking a baby, we're talking a child that doesn't even like her own hair.
How did she learn that, you believe? How do you believe she learned that?
Well, you know, I try not to make any type of assumptions because I love all my clients. And the clients that I work for, they are amazing people as well. So I definitely protect as far as like client confidentiality and things like that. But with children are so innocent. So I wouldn't necessarily blame it on anyone, but children are just so innocent. And with the play, I think it was
children are innocent, but at the same time, nobody can be as cruel as children, because a child will tell you exactly what they think. They are they're open. They're wide open.
They're truthful. The truth is in their words.
She could be getting that from another child.
She could be getting it from a parent.
Child,
Yeah, we're talking about a child that's no more than like 7. You know, so like for a child to hate their own hair at the age of 7, you know, and that's not the first client that I have seen that did not like their hair. And I'm like, wow, like what are we doing? What are we doing to our communities? What are we doing to our babies? And this is, you know, it's in profound numbers. So I'm not going to put it on just one clientele, this one particular person.
No, we're not doing that. No, we're much broader than that. But what I am saying, what I've observed, 98% of black women are like that.
Absolutely. You are so right.
Because when you straighten your hair, you're taking it away from how God made your hair. God made it beautiful and curly, but we want it straight. And that's what I see 98% of black women doing. So that just shows how strong the self-hatred is in our race.
Yeah, you're right about that, but I like to defend what I do as a profession because as an adult, you know, you get to choose how you want to live. You know, if you want to be beautiful in a certain way, it's about independence. You know, so I can definitely understand one day if you want to straighten your hair, okay, that's fine. One day if you want to wear your hair with extra curls, let's do that. You know, so I definitely promote look at whatever your perception of beauty is. Do that, but don't hate yourself.
Right.
That's where the problem comes in.
And that's the key, because I'd like to add, it's really what we should be questioning is the why behind the what. Because I would say there's nothing wrong with there's nothing wrong with wearing blonde hair, straight hair, curly hair, kinky hair. But at the end of the day, you have to love the core of who you are. I think we have to get to a place where whatever we're expressing, that just at the end of the day, we love the core. If we love the core, then we know that anything else that we're doing, it's not for the wrong reasons.
Absolutely. And I think it's a universal message, because I know y'all was talking about, you know, why, you know, all that. I get that. I understand that. I'm a mixed race. I'm a mixed race, so I'm a little bit of both.
Yeah.
So I can see both sides, you know, and defend both sides as well. But with the play, I think it's a universal message.
Yes, it is.
If you take away the cultures and the black people and put white people in there or Jewish people, you got the same message, because, hey...
Wait a minute. There we go. Who are the Jews?
I'm sorry?
Who are the Jews? I'm not talking about by religion, but by birth.
Well, I can't speak for nobody else. I'm mixed. You know, I'm a little bit of white and black, so I can't really speak for both.
See, this was what I was explaining. There's a myth out there that the Jews are white people by birth. That's not true.
Well,
The people that we are called Jews are people, they're really Greeks. They came from Greece.
I have a lot of friends. And I guess some people would say my friends are like the United Nations.
Well, that's
So am I. Yeah, mine too.
I mean, because, you know, but the play, what I got from the play, the fashion level is beautiful. It's beautiful. It's a wonderful message. And those clothes, oh, my God.
Thank you.
I wanted one of those dresses.
Thank you.
One of those dresses.
Thanks for coming out to the show.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for the support. Absolutely.
All right, y'all got one great fan out there. She's
we really appreciate it. We hope to see you again on April 13th.
Yeah.
Yeah, she seems to be very thrilled over your play. Now, when y'all, did you write this play?
Yes.
You wrote it? How long has it been in existence?
I spent 2 years. 2 years?
Yeah, 2 years.
Yeah, we did our first show. at the Pan-African Connection in 2012 in the parking lot.
Beautiful,
It was a beautiful experience. Yeah. The owner's name is Equate. She opened her doors to us and allowed us to develop the show. And at first it was rough, and it was out we did in 103-degree weather.
It was hot.
And,
blazing hot.
And we realized we had something beautiful. The audience was very touched, and we, even the cast, we were touched by what we were doing. And we just felt the presence of something great, and we wanted to continue with it. And so we've had a lot of support along the way.
And this production is part of, you know, you sticking with something and continuing to build something, and it grows and grows and grows.
But where do you plan for this play to take the average person? Where should they go from there?
What I would basically like for each person to pretty much consider from the show?
Right.
I'm looking for people, particularly the black community, to take a look at their collection of words and actions, to really take an honest inventory of it. To then also take a moment to ask yourself, what is it that you want? Like, we say a lot of things. We say a lot of generalized things. Like, we say we want to come together. I hear that a lot. We say we want to work together, and there's a lot, and that's beautiful. That's great. But I'm looking for us to start to get to the details, because when we say we want to work together, they're also, do you really? You have to ask yourself, in what capacity? What does that mean? What do you see? Like, you know, a dream of, you know, what is your dream for your people, your communities? How do you see it? Describe it. Have fun with thinking about what you would like to create. Get more detailed about what you're saying that you want. And then take a look at your collection of words.
Will this have African Americans? Do you think you want them to come together and do business together?
Do business together? Yeah, absolutely. But with the details, like there has to be the desire. It's like saying that, well, no, not just coming together simply because we're black, but coming together for specified reasons of understanding that we need to come together. If we want to solve many of our issues, if we really say that we want to see less poverty and less this and less that and less of all the negative, there must be the understanding that regardless of how different we may be and where our backgrounds, that it's a necessary thing that we need to do. Understanding that dynamic, not just the want of doing it, but understanding it's necessary. Yeah. It's very, very necessary, because if we don't do it, who's going to do it? Because we'll always be on the doorstep of approval. We'll always be at somebody else's doorstep of approval who don't want us there in abundance. And that's the catch. Like, yeah, there are many, I'm not saying that whites will not let us into their sectors. I mean, they allow, and they, some are fair, some entities are fair. However, I'm looking at the numbers and I'm asking myself, and I hear all the time blacks who say, well, I'm qualified and I'm still getting rejected, and, I'm talented, I'm still getting rejected. And I say, well, what's happening is when you're on the doorstep of approval, you are disposable. You are disposable. We have to create our own entities in order to level. That's the only way the playing field will be level. Is we have to have our own doors.
The same thing, basically the same thing, because this is not a new thought. This is something that's been discussed by African Americans for years and years. It was a real popular topic back in the 60s. Coming together, loving yourselves, loving your hair, loving your skin tone, loving one another, reaching out to one another, do business with one another. The only way we can make it if we unite and become one people. But understanding, many of our people don't realize that we are a people. I hear people all the time say, hey, I'm mixed, and I got both sides. No, here's what it is. You might be mixed, that's true. But how does the world see you? How will the world treat you? They're going to treat you just like you and he may be different skin tones, but you treat it similar.
Now, I want to throw something, a little bit of something in that pot. Now, the only thing I would say that we have to consider is that the play is actually asking blacks to get off of the doorstep of that consideration. We have to get to a point, I believe.
What consideration?
Of allowing ourselves to be defined by others. It's kind of like the old one drop rule, right?
I hear what you're saying. Yes, that one drop rule, but allowing others to define us. But if we reach and started defining ourselves at this point in time in history, we're going to divide ourselves even farther.
Yes. Well,
and I've seen it happen too many times. We end up dividing ourselves instead of becoming one force and then branching off and defining ourselves.
Right.
But we first must understand who we are, and we have not come to that point. We are not students as much as we should be of history.
Yeah, and I just want to throw this point in there, specifically for those who do consider themselves biracial. I think we can still come together, and this is one of the points that the play makes. Even if you consider yourself biracial, even if you consider, let's say you don't consider yourself black, because we have a lot of people who are conflicted with what we should call ourselves, right?
Right.
The play is saying, you call yourself African American, black, you may consider yourself none. Maybe you just say you want to call yourself American. At the end of the day, the bottom line is, we still have to come together, regardless of the technical names, regardless of how you break it down, and because some people believe in the one drop rule, and then there are some people who believe that, well, that would be foolish to follow what slave masters and people who oppress you tell you what makes you who you are. Because I can see a biracial person saying, I'm not going to let them tell me what I should be. I believe I'm biracial because I love my mother and this. But we have to come together regardless of our terminologies. That's the point of the show.
If you'd like to join this conversation, call us at 972-647-1893. We're up against a short break, and we'll be right back. All right, we're back on Church Information in Open Forum, and our special guest this morning is Mr. Antonio Wingfield.
Antonio Wingfield, yeah.
All righty, and
Darnell Sanders.
Reverend Darnell.
You got me.
These gentlemen have, I can tell by the essence of what they're saying, this has got to be an out-of-sight play. They're doing it in a 2014 style. In a 2014 fashion.
Yes, absolutely.
We need to be touched in our minds. I can hear some reveille in there. I hear entertainment. But most of all, I hear some knowledge and wisdom in what they are doing. And, gentlemen, how have y'all taken this play beyond Dallas?
Other than Fort Worth, that we've been in the metro.
Well, that's the same thing.
But we're plotting to go. We want to take the show across the country.
Don't you want to go to Broadway?
That would be nice too. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. We believe the message is necessary. We believe the message.
We feel that bringing Broadway, having something that was cultivated and developed here in Dallas, and creating a Broadway Dallas type of feel.
Ideally, that's what we would love.
Yeah.
Well, plays used to be very popular in Dallas. Y'all know Al Wash, don't you? Do you know Al Wash?
I don't think the name doesn't ring a bell.
That's the biggest.
Al Wash.
He's the biggest promoter in the country.
Okay.
They're right here in Dallas.
Oh, really? Okay.
And y'all don't know Wash?
I don't think I've ever heard of that name.
Never heard of Al Wash?
Nope. No.
He's the biggest man in the country. They're right here in Dallas.
Okay.
Oh, that's great.
If I were you, I would get in contact. I'll contact Wash for y'all.
Okay.
I'll call him.
Excellent.
And
invite him to the show.
Y'all need for Wash and his wife. His wife has a theater here in Dallas.
What's in?
Over there, right off Jefferson. What's that street? Somebody call me and tell me.
The Bishop Arts?
Bishop Arts.
Oh, I know her.
Yeah, but her husband's the biggest promoter in the country.
I had no idea. Okay. I'm aware of her.
Y'all Grambling and Prairie View and all that?
Yes.
That's Wash.
Yes. Okay.
And a lot of other things. But some of the things that have come here over the years that were red hot. Y'all remember, yours is far different from this, but you do remember Beauty Shop and all these others that came to us. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. You need to get to know people like Wash.
Okay.
And because you have a message. I want it to be big because I want the message to get out there among the people, to make people really think and see what you're doing to yourselves.
Yes.
And actually, you're shortening your life by being angry all the time with yourself. Yeah. And self-hatred. Self-hatred just seems to bring out things that, it's just something in life that when you're unhappy with yourself, disappointed with yourself, I really believe y'all is touching on this. And when you preach your sermon, preacher, are you getting many amens?
Oh my gosh! I'm telling you, there's all kind of stuff going on in there. There's all kind of stuff going on.
Do you think the African American church is ready to hear that?
Oh yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I know with the messages, what we're discovering about most of the people in the audience, at first you can tell people are warming up to it, but we really believe from what we're seeing and hearing, it's like you want something, but you're afraid of hearing it. It's like afraid of hearing someone tell you the truth of something. But when you finally hear it, it's almost like a relief.
I'm looking at this picture with these designs. Boy, this stuff is extraordinary.
Thank you.
This is beautiful. Boy, y'all some talented dudes. Y'all are some talented young men.
Thank you.
Boy, this is phenomenal. I tell you what, let's go to our phone lines and who we have. Let's go to Kevin. Let's go to Kevin on line 2 first. All righty. Good morning, Kevin.
Hey, how you all doing?
Fine. How are you?
Good morning.
Great message, and you young men, you all continue to do what you're doing, because we certainly, in this day and time, we certainly need young people to step up to the plate and do those things that you're talking about. One of the things that I heard earlier that I'm very disturbed about is this thing about race and the con game of not being any race. We never brought the race thing into this equation. That was brought into the equation by European folk.
Yes.
And now that whenever you get a people who come together based on a commonality, one of the things that's done to counteract that is to make it seem like it's irrelevant what they're talking about. Okay. Now, for instance, I'll give you a prime example of how things are done. You've heard of the European Union, is that correct?
Yes.
But you never heard, probably, you may have heard, but you don't know a lot about the African Union. You know, and all of those things, you know, the play on is being irrelevant. That is one of the meanest tricks in the world and it's meant to counteract your coming together, because you're saying, well, we're all the same and we're all this, that, and other, and we're not all the same.
Right.
You know, so I just encourage you all to look at that. I mean, why is it that so many of our young ladies are having this fake hair, this long flowing hair? Not only are you denigrating yourself and you're saying that someone else's standard amplifies more beauty than yours, but economically you're empowering another people over you as well.
Yes, absolutely.
So I just encourage you young men to continue to do what you're doing, and Brother Barnett, you're outstanding. I mean, you've been out here for a long time, and you just...
Oh, no, man, I just turned 29 the other day.
Okay. So,
all right.
Thank you.
All right, then.
All right. Thank you for your call and comment. Clear the line, 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 3 and say good morning to Pastor Bob. All righty?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
How are you doing?
Good
Fine.
morning.
How are you?
I'm doing fine. I heard when I tuned in a while ago, there was some discussion about being black or being biracial and the controversies surrounding that. Being the father of a biracial son, I can certainly relate to that. My wife and I have been married 37 years, and she is African American. Back when I lived in Waco, my son often went to meetings with me, and a lot of the people there were liberal Democrats. And my wife usually worked nights, and so she didn't go. They saw he and I together. They never saw her, and because he was biracial, they assumed he was adopted. That was one of the worst insults I've ever experienced in my entire life.
Well, you know, this is our society, and until people can come together, African Americans, see, white folks got their thing together. They have, their system works without even speaking a word. Our system has not come together as it should. Until our system come together, there will always be the brunt of jokes and stereotypes and different things like that. And I think these young men here are trying to wake us up and saying to us, let's come together. Let's think and let the world know. We know that we are just as beautiful, just as intelligent, if not more so, than anybody else on earth. And I think,
well, you know, there's been a lot of talk about racial stereotyping, and it does exist. But you have a gathering, mainly black people, and you say you may have one white male and one white female there who are totally strangers. Somebody's going to come up with a ludicrous idea that they are a couple. I've seen that happen before, and that to me is also an insult.
That they are a couple?
Yes.
Okay.
Because they just there happen to be one white male and one white female at a black gathering, and somebody's going to think they're husband and wife.
Oh, they know each other.
Yeah,
they may be total strangers.
Yeah, I see that one going both directions.
Yes. And it's one of the things that the play talks about also. Yeah. For us to solve any issue of a community, it has to be consistent all the way around. Bigotry cannot go either. You can't play the game of bigotry or prejudices and then complain about it. That's basically what the show is saying.
And Well, we married in 77. My father died in 78, and we don't think he really ever accepted my wife. My son was born in 81. My mother died in 95, and so she lived long enough that she got to know my wife and son. So I'm thankful for that.
Where were you living in 1977, if I may ask?
Teague, Texas.
Oh, Lord have mercy. All right.
My wife
you got a lot of nerve, man.
Yeah, in fact, somebody threatened to bomb the church. This was just 10 years after Loving versus Virginia.
Right, when it made it legal for black and whites to marry. Lord have mercy.
Hopefully in June, my 4th book will be out. That's about my wife's family tree, and we're really looking forward to that. I've been working on it for over 35 years.
All right. Okay, then. We thank you for your call.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
This is Reverend Bob.
Thank you.
Pastor Bob. All right. They bombed this church. Wow. I can believe that, Teague, Texas.
Wow.
And it's a blessing he's still there. All right. 972-647-1893 is the number to call. 972-647-1893. Bring Juanita on line 4. All righty. All right. Good morning, Juanita.
Good morning. How are you, Reverend Barnett?
Fine.
Awakening crew.
Hey there. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning. Good morning.
Uh-huh.
I couldn't let this pass up. Danielle called me. I guess she's out of state, but she called me to tell me about you guys being on. And I'm so thankful to you, Reverend Barnett, for allowing them to be on, because this...
I'm glad I did now. I wasn't sure at first. I said, because so many of our young people don't have their heads screwed on right. And you never know what you're getting with a lot of them. Yeah. But I'm glad I did.
I'm glad you did, too. And see, it shows the fact that you are open-minded and that you are a risk taker and that you will go ahead and do what you think your heart leads you to do when your mind is telling you differently.
Right.
But just to speak very quickly to the fact that awakening is something that every person, regardless of your economic situation, regardless of your ethnicity, every person needs to be there to see that. Because what it does is that it gives you the knowledge so that you'll be able to decide for yourself, and it gives you a different perspective. The actual show is better than any show, any theatrical show that I've ever seen. And I've been
thank you so much.
That's saying a whole lot now.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you
but
so much,
the other thing that we have to look at is the fact we have to know our history. And if you don't know your history, then you're doomed really to repeat itself.
That's
or
right.
to be set yourself to feel inferior. I don't have an inferior bone in me because, see, I know my history. If you look, it says most people have already, that really study history, know that mankind originated in Africa. So that makes the African man the father and African woman the mother of mankind, and everybody else is recessive genes, and they have come from the African. Now, if you look at also the things that were actually developed by the man in Africa, and then you can bring that forward. So everything that we are talking about here now existed in Africa before they were taken over by some of their own people like we do, and also by the Portuguese and other people that came into Africa to try to take the resources and the riches from Africa. That's what it's all about.
They've been raping Africa for centuries, the resources of Africa. All right.
You know, I got to touch on one other thing, Rev Barnett. I get long-winded, but we've got to say something about this home rule school.
Don't worry, we're going to talk about that in the 8 o'clock hour.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah,
so can I call back
you
in?
can call back in the 8 o'clock hour. We're going to talk about the home rule school.
Wonderful. Well,
right.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay. All right, now, this is April 13th at the Majestic Theater.
Yes, April 13th at the Majestic Theater. The show starts at 4 o'clock. It's called The Awakening. You can
4 p.m.
Yes.
April 13th. What day of the week is that?
That's on a Sunday.
Sunday evening, April 13th. All right. Is there a website?
The website to get more information on the production is thefashionopera.com. That's THE. fashionopera.com.
TheFashionOpera.com. Is there a number or anything?
The best contact number is 214-962-6325, and that's 214-962-6325. 962-6325.
Now, I could talk about that Majestic Theater to y'all. When we used to couldn't go and sit nowhere but in the crow's nest upstairs. Now, y'all having this in historically one of the most racist institutions in the history of Dallas. See, let's just bring one call up. Let's just bring one more up for about 30 seconds. Somebody might. Let's say good morning to Barbara. All righty, good morning. Barbara, you there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Go right ahead.
Good morning. I wanted to make a comment to your guest. I haven't seen the play yet, but I do plan on seeing it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And a couple of callers called in. Say the last guy that called in, he had said about the women that wear their hair. But, you know, racism is conditional. We've been conditioned. We as black people have been conditioned through the media and lots of other avenues, TV, that's what our man wants, is to have a woman with long hair. You know, and when the little kid that didn't like herself, they do those tests every year or so often. Take which dial you're going to pick, the black dial or the white dial. And if I go in the room and the black dial don't have any hair, or the black dial had the hair drawn in like they used to do, and the white dial had the long flowing hair, as a kid, I'm going to pick the dial with the long hair because that's what I want to do, comb hair and fix hair.
Do you think black men prefer women with the long weaves and different things like that?
This day and time, yes.
You think so?
Yes, I do.
You know what I've noticed?
It's a multi-million-dollar.
Yeah, and but we don't make any of it. We exploit it. That's exploitation.
That's right. We are.
But but black women. I mean,
I'm sorry.
Now go. Black men. I'm gonna tell you what. Black men love the natural look and love a lady that has a warm personality. And I have to give him, you have to tell the truth, he loves ladies with big behinds.
That's on your day, Reverend Barber.
No, that's an all day. That's an all day.
Well, the show definitely explores.
Y'all gonna explore that?
We explore how black men have played a major role in how black women perceive their hair.
Yes.
Okay. Are we out of time? Out of time. Gotta run. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Antonio. Thank you, Darnell. Thank y'all for coming.
Thank you.
And y'all have a wonderful play April 13th, 4 p.m. at the Majestic Theater.
Yes, The Awakening.
Right. Thank you, The Awakening.
The Awakening. All righty.
Thank you
y'all
so
have
much.
a good day.
Thank you. And we're going to bring some tickets by.
We're back for hour number 2 on Church Information and Open Forum. I'm Marian Barnett, your host. Many of you are, y'all lighting these lines up, calling and asking when is the play. Again, it's Sunday, April 13th at the Majestic Theater, and it's at 4 p.m. All righty, and you can contact them at www.thefashionopera.com. www.thefashionopera.com. That's Antonio and Darnell. All right. Obviously, this must be a great play because y'all got our lines jammed up calling about the play. All righty. 972-647-1893. 972-647-1893. 972-647-1893 is the number to call. We got a lot of things to talk about. We want to talk about this home rule. So much is going on in Dallas. If we don't be careful, you're going to lose your school district. Whether you love it or hate it, it's yours. It's yours right now. After a while, if we allow it, it's going to be somebody else's, but you still going to be paying for it. It's going to still be run with your tax dollars. It'll be their district and your money. Now, some things, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out. Some things it just don't, you don't have to be a scholar to figure out when someone is taking something away from you, taking your rulership. Well, you may not be happy with the board of trustees that are there, but if they're there, you voted them in, and if you voted them in, you can vote them out. But under this home rule, you will not have any say-so. Your children can get kicked out of school. You will not have any say-so because of the charter system. Teachers will be fired. We're going to lose their job. They will not have any recourse. There are just so many variables on this. But there will be a march, a protest, and a rally for the people to rally for our children, that we're going to stand up. For one time in our lives, we need to stand up for our children. And you can call me at 972-647-1893. I'm letting you get through with all the callers on the line. They all are full. But you need to hear this. You need to bring your ideas. You need to bring, and when we announce when the march and rally will be, you need to be there. We need all ethnic groups. Hispanic people, yes, Lord have mercy. You definitely need to be there. African Americans, white people. It's all of our districts. It's all of our district. It's all of ours. But if we turn this over to these fellas, it's going to be theirs, and they're going to use your money from your homes, your businesses, different things like that. Your money will be used and used up by somebody else other than you. All righty. 972-647-1893. I know it's hard to get in. 972-647-1893 is that number to call. Again, the play will be The Awakening. About a fashion opera. They're putting it on Sunday, April 13th at the Majestic Theater, starting at 4 p.m. All right, 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 3 and say good morning to Al. All righty. Al, good morning, Al.
Hey, Bishop Barnett, how you doing?
Fine. How are you this morning?
Oh, I'm blessed this morning. I call you Bishop because that's what you are.
Oh, well, I'm not big on titles. I was given the name Marion, and that's good enough.
I know it, Bishop, but I'm just giving you what God gave me.
All right, thank you.
To make a long story short, on the hairdos, I understand totally what you all was saying. One day I was down at the Dollar General. A black sister came in. She had the college cut, like the dudes wear, just short to the scalp. And Bishop, this was a beautiful black woman with the shortest hair.
I mean, our women can wear hair so many different styles, and look so beautiful.
And I just love all of them.
Yeah. See, we just have everything in our ethnic group. We got all colors, we got all shapes, everything. So I just don't see how we could be so mean and cruel. Now, we brothers, we can be some mean and cruel guys toward our women, and I just don't see it. I can't understand it. When we have the most voluptuous, you got them tiny, and you got them medium size, everything, pretty hair, all of them, natural hair, just everything.
A bouquet of roses.
Yeah, and shapely. Oh my God, I just can't see. I don't understand what's going on, and I do. I understand what's happening in our society today, and it's not good. And one of these days, I'm gonna let y'all know really what's on my mind. All righty then. I thank you for your call,
Bishop.
Yes,
Bishop.
Go right ahead.
On 7-Eleven, they want to get up north where their people live.
On 7-Eleven.
Their office downtown.
Yeah.
The statement was they want to move because they want to go back. They want to go north where their people live. Like they don't have black folks and Hispanics working for them downtown Dallas.
Oh, okay. All righty.
And get them, Bishop.
7-Eleven is want to move up north.
Want to move north because that's where they say most of their employees live. All right, Bishop.
Come on. All right. Okay. We'll get together on that. All righty. 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 2 and say good morning to Reverend Wright. All righty. Good morning, preacher.
Good morning, Pastor. How you doing this morning?
Fine. You doing all right?
I'm doing absolutely wonderful. show you had from earlier.
And thank you for sitting in last week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was a pleasure. It was all my pleasure. But I thank you for informing them about the rally that we're going to put together on April 27th as a racist home school.
April 26th. April 26th.
April 26th. That's right. 27th is Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
This dictatorship the mayor is trying to do, Pastor. And I thank God for you for having the press conference. What we put online to them, the mayor could not respond. They've done a show. Steve Pickett went up doing a one-on-one with him on the following our press conference.
Right.
He couldn't answer any of those questions, or he acted like he couldn't answer any of those questions that we had to ask to him. And so it's a prime example of how we need to make sure that we all come together and rally to stop this. Talked to some teachers yesterday. They had no earthly idea this was going on until we put the press conference on.
The teachers didn't know what was going on?
Teachers had no earthly idea until we put the press conference on. A lot of teachers just found out about the homeschool ruling thing. They just found out about it, and it's like this is unbelievable. And I said, y'all didn't know about it? No, we didn't know about it, because they were fooled like a lot of us citizens are when it says support the public school. They don't realize that organizations try to get the public out of school.
Yeah, they were tricked. Yeah. See, Einstein told me he went to a school there, elementary school there in the Glen Oaks area, and he was telling them about it, but they didn't know it. They said they hadn't heard anything about the homeschool ruling and this new charter system that's they're trying to put in place. And they knew nothing about it. The PTA didn't know anything about it, and he called Carla Ranger, and Carla went over there and had to explain it to him. What's happening? How is it people that's going to, everybody's going to be affected, but these people are affected directly. Their jobs, their careers could end with this, and they were not aware of what was going on?
They were not aware, and I'm telling you, that's just, this is a part of the scheme of dictatorship, is, and, as we went to the little, we had, we were even tricked into thinking that we went to a church thinking that we were putting together a rally to eliminate this, but it was to support.
It was to support, and all they could say is, I don't know. They would not give any answers, but I'm telling y'all, I know how they operate in Dallas. They've got their charter. They've already put it together. They know what they want to do.
They lined up. I thank God for you and Sister Diane Rags there, my big sister, and Robert Petrie, and all of us for coming out and challenging them. They had a person that looked like us to try to explain it to us. Now, we used to that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they couldn't answer any of the questions. It wasn't a forum. It was another one of those Dallas City Council meetings where they pick and choose what they wanted to. And I thank God for the little preacher for letting us have it over there. But at the end of the day, it was a dog and pony show.
That's all.
We need to have a true forum with these people so they can answer some of our questions.
Right. But they don't want to. They want to get this thing pushed past, and hopefully they can get a referendum. What they're going to try to do, the strategy they're going to try to use, I know Dallas, they're going to try to pit North Dallas against South Dallas. That's what they're going to try to do. Wealthy whites in North Dallas will come out and say they don't really have anything vested in this thing because of their children don't go to public schools in Dallas. But at the same time, I think it's going to backfire on them. For the simple fact, people in North Dallas know that corporations is not going to come into a district where the school system is in turmoil. They know this. I think this is going to backfire. We don't need somebody, a Tea Partier from Houston, John Arnold. We don't need him dictating what we do here in Dallas and negating our vote, negating our rights as citizens, and they're just negating us as people here in Dallas. And I just believe all people, black, white, red, yellow, brown, everybody is going to come together against this. I really believe that.
Well, we're hoping and we're getting that information out. It's about money passed at the end of the day.
It's that $1.5 billion annual budget, and then we run a bond package of about over $2 billion. It could be close to $3 billion this next time. A bond package. They want to get their hands on all of that money. That's all. This is what it's all about. They don't care anything about children. They don't care anything about your children. They just want the money. That's all.
From the same meeting that we had, they had in 3 other meetings, and it turned out the same way.
Right.
None of the people going to answer this question, and the demographics showed that it was African American, Hispanic, and white, and European Americans coming together saying, "Stay out of our business." And so we're going to form a group together, and I'm going to get in touch with all the people, and we're going to have a rally on the 26th of April. Now, another thing, Pastor, like I said, and we're going to, for all you people who get on Facebook, you need to get on Facebook and say, stop signing those petitions because they're misleading, and with the title of support our public schools, Pastor, that was a trick that we exposed, because we were thinking, if they say support the public school, yeah, we're going to support it. But in actuality, you're getting ready to shut down a public school by your signature.
That's right. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Rev.
Well, let me one more thing about you, Pastor.
Okay.
On Tuesday, they're having the funeral of Delisa Kelly.
Right.
And Delisa Kelly was a young lady who was found murdered, who was pregnant and had a 2-year-old child.
Right.
From that murder, Justice Seekers is going to write up a proposal to enforce the Kelly Alert. And the Kelly Alert is, this young lady was screaming on the phone and said she needed help. And when the sisters told the police that, they never responded to 24 hours later. And then we went on to find out that the young lady was murdered this took place on a Friday, but she was actually murdered on that Monday. Had the police responded, when they told
she
her
died that Monday.
She was killed that Monday. And so the police responded when they first called them and said, my sister screamed. She had a Metro PC phone, which is the phone the Dallas police have control over. And the guy was texting back to them. They could have immediately found out the area that this young lady was in, and we could have went out and they could have found her and probably could have saved her life. And so this is the 3rd or 4th time this has happened to a young African-American woman in this city. And so we're going to I'm writing up the policy for the Kelly Alert and seeing we can't get the Texas legislator in 2015 to enforce when somebody calls the Dallas police or any police officer screaming, they need to respond.
All righty then. That's going to be a great thing. All right. I'll see you later on today. All right.
Okay.
All right. 972-647-1893. 972-647-1893 is the number to call. Let's go to Barbara on line 3. All righty?
Dr. Barnett.
Yes,
I hope you don't mind me calling you doctor.
Well, whatever.
I know you're forever.
It could be, believe me, you can call me something worse.
It took you 50 years back. So let me take you a little more back in 100 years, okay?
Okay.
First of all,
cut your radio off because we're getting feedback.
Okay, I'm in the car because I'm on my way to give you some money.
All right.
Okay, what it is, let me tell you first. First, I give honor to God. I'm going to tell you first about the airplane, and I want to talk about the church, okay? Can I do this?
Go right ahead.
Okay, I give honor to God. When that plane went down, I kept saying the plane in the water. Did nobody want to believe me? But my doctor, I'm going to tell you, he told me, Miss Grimes. His name was Dr. Ronnie Shea. He's Miss Grimes, where's that plane? What plane you talking about? He said, on the first thing I said, how many people on there, how many ships? And I said, that plane's in that water. Nobody believed me, but let me tell you, when a plane go down, listen what I'm saying. A plane go down, and when it go down, it's going to go down and it level off. If the flow going forward, the plane going to go forward. Okay? If the plane going forward, I'm going to tell you where the plane going. I'm not spying or nothing, but that plane is going to be in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That plane going.
The airplane?
That airplane going. See, first I told him about the city. You hear me? I told him where that plane was. But the police doctor said he's a good doctor. He's out there with more.
They found the plane?
No. I'm trying to tell you where that plane is headed.
It's headed to Tulsa.
It's in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Okay.
That's all I got to say.
All right, and thank you. Thank you. All right. 972-647-1893. 972-647-1893. Let's go to Tony on line 1. All righty. All right. We got, you say we have a minute? I'll tell you what, let's hold it up. I don't want to cut the call off in the middle of his call. Let's take a short break, and we'll be right back. All right. We're back on Church Information and Open Forum. I'm Marian Barnett, your host. And you can reach us at 972-647-1893. 972-647-1893. And whatever you'd like to talk about, we open the lines. We are talking about this homeschool ruling. We are talking about these new charter system to turn Dallas public schools into a charter system that would have a board of 15 people to oversee it. We don't know who. They won't be elected. We won't have board members that we will elect. No, we won't have those. Whether we elect good ones or bad ones, you still have the opportunity to cast your vote as a citizen of the United States of America. And it's sad that how we can go all over the world, policing the world, talking about bringing democracy to these countries and that country. Right here in America, they're trying to steal your vote. They're trying to take away your part in democracy right here at home, but we're policing the world, doing this everywhere else. So it's time for us to stand up. 972-647-1893 is the number to call. All right, let's go to line 1 and say good morning to Tony. All righty. All right, Tony, are you still there?
Yes, sir. Good morning. How you doing?
Fine, Tony. How are you this morning?
All right. I read 3 or 4 articles that was in the Dallas Morning News. Now, we know that Mayor Rollins gave a PR person to Mike Miles to kind of help him with the public image he has.
Right.
Mike Miles has said he has not put a position on it. That is a PR move. So he's supposed to be neutral. But he said the 2 good things out of this program, if it did happen, is that he can start school when he wanted to, whatever, and he can fire teachers at will.
Right.
Now, the teachers, they don't understand this. Charter schools never tell you how much they pay their teachers.
No.
Now, the headmasters and the people that's in the office make 6-figure incomes. And I'm not saying 6 figures, I'm generalizing. The head guy makes 6 figures, but everybody else make good money. And so here you go. They went to Northwest Dallas, and they found that those white people didn't like what happened, and they asked critical questions. And when they asked these critical questions at the town hall meeting they had, they couldn't answer it. And the reality is this: the Spanish representative who was up there with Starbucks' daughter couldn't even answer some of these questions. And what happened is he said that he's not for a strong mayor president in this home rule situation.
Right.
Now, the newspaper said that the mayor, they had 3 sources that said that the mayor wanted it. So already you have a divide within that.
Right.
And my last point is this. It's an article in Wednesday paper that Dallas Morning News editorial that Mike Miles had that people need to read. They had an article yesterday in Friday's paper. And if you look at Tim on Channel 4 interview on the internet, when he had the Spanish representative, how do y'all come out with this program and y'all don't even organize, y'all don't really have any answers. And Channel 8 had an interview with her brother yesterday, last night, about 10 o'clock. He couldn't answer the question either. And, what they're doing is, like you're saying, they kind of steal the district and say, okay, they got Ron Kirk, the Black Chamber of Commerce, that's a minority, supposedly, to convince us to go along with this.
Right.
And my thing is this. This is what I know about Ron Kirk. Ron Kirk's daughters, before they got to a certain age, went to Hockey Day. Which he has a choice to put him in there. There's no question. But the youngest one went to Booker T.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, she graduated. And this is public knowledge because it's in the paper. I know this. I don't know them personally. This is paper, newspaper article I've read. But the reality is, white people are not going to put their kids in a charter school system. I don't care, even if you have a demanding school. Most of them will put them in private school before they put in charter school. If you look at the charter school's role, there are more minorities than whites, period.
Mm-hmm.
And if you take Dallas to a charter school system, the 1% of the white people who do go to the ISD are going to take their kids out of the ISD so quick and so fast that all of a sudden we're the only ones that in the charter school system, and like I said, we gave it away.
Well, but here's the gist of the whole thing. Well, where anybody put their kids, they could care less. It's that $1.5 billion annual budget. It's about money, okay? They're not about education. They could care less. Their kids are not there, like you say. But if they can take over the district, they'll run the district, they'll own the district, and they'll have us paying them to do nothing for us. That's what it's all about.
And I want to make one last statement.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a little, and actually, it's in the newspaper. It's the southwest part of Dallas. You should have read some of the articles of the people who in DeSoto, Douglasville, Lancaster, who's suggesting that Dallas should become a home rule system. Now these people ain't saying anything about these schools become home rule.
They're gonna fall in line just like all. If Dallas go, it's going.
Exactly.
Dallas is the trial balloon for the nation.
Yes, sir.
This is the trial balloon, all right? And if Dallas fall, you're going to see them falling all over the nation. And the people in Lancaster, DeSoto, Cedar Hill, Duncanville, wherever you want to say, hey, they don't consider you suburbs. Suburb is a name. It's a dog whistle for white people to let you know who you are. That's nothing but a dog whistle. When they say suburbans, they're talking about whites. When they talking about inner city, they're talking about blacks in most cases. So they're not really talking about geographical locations until our people learn to hear these dog whistles that they send out. We'll never get anywhere, and quit trying to pretend that you're in one position in one situation when you're not. All righty. Thank you for your call. 972-647-1893. 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 2 and say good morning to Mookie. All righty. Good morning, Mookie. Is she gone? I guess she's gone. She was impatient. All right. 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 3 and say good morning to Curtis. All righty. Good morning, Curtis.
Good morning, Pastor Barnett.
How you doing, Curtis?
Oh, I'm good. I'm wonderful, wonderful weather we're having out there. It's a wonderful day, so I guess I'm happy. But Pastor Barnett, I got a question for you. Is the church, throughout the civil rights movement and even now, the church is supposed to be a beacon in our community. Would you say that?
It should be.
Okay, so we're talking about these charter schools. Now, keep in mind, I don't have an agenda. I just want to say that for the folks that are listening. I'm not on either side, but I'm kind of confused. We talk about these charter schools. I know a little bit about charter schools, but I want to ask this question. If you stop and think about it, why is most of our mega churches, all the churches that have these so-called schools, are charter schools? Have you ever thought about that, Pastor Barnett?
No.
The TD Jakes and all the Friendship West and everybody that has a school or a nursery, pretty much a charter.
Yeah, well, that's a regulation that the state allows for individuals to churches or a group of individual persons. If they want to start a charter school, that's something the state allows. But what they're proposing is to make a whole school district charter. Dallas.
Right. But what is the problem? I don't understand the problem.
The problem is they want to get their hands on our money.
What money are we giving? Are we giving any money?
You pay taxes, man. You pay a ton. You pay a ton of taxes, and the budget is about $1.6 billion annually. They want to get control of that. They want to get control of your mind, your education. They'll say what they want and what they don't want, and you will have no recourse because you will not have a board of trustees to speak to you, because we will not be electing a board anymore. They will appoint 15 people to oversee everything. You have no recourses on anything. They do exactly what they want with your money. That's what it's all about.
Pastor Barnett, let me play advocate here. Do we have any recourse now? I mean, we've had the board of trustees for sure.
Yeah, but
and
the thing about
all they do is argue, complain, and it's never about the kids.
Who put them there?
We did.
Okay, now who's making the mistake if we don't have a good board?
Well, I mean,
the people are making. If we don't have a good board, the people are making the mistakes. But people can make. No, people can make mistakes if they're paying for it. Okay, you're voting for it.
Well, we don't pay for it either way. It looks like.
No, but what I'm saying, you do have recourse. You do have recourse to get rid of those bad board members. But under this new ruling, you will have no recourse, whether they bad, good, or whatever. You have no recourse.
Now, Pastor Barnett, we love Sister Ranger. Miss Ranger does a wonderful job. She's been down there all this time by herself. Now, Miss Ranger, there is a reason. I've never asked her this, but next time I see her, I'm going to ask her. There's a reason why Miss Ranger didn't want to run again, and I'm curious to know what that reason is. And I mean, we sit there, and I've heard you on your show many days talk about how she stands by herself, how nobody else wants to listen to her reasoning. And we talk about having a board that cares about the kids now, but before we heard about the charter school, you know, it's everybody's for every dog for itself. I mean, I'm just confused about how we listen to stuff and we get all emotionally caught up behind it without really getting the research, doing the research. I mean, our kids are in learning institutions and they're causing problems continuously, and the teachers can't teach. I mean, there is no we're not regular.
But you have to understand, you still have an opportunity, and we had other opportunities to vote more Color Rangers on the board, but we didn't. That's our fault. And if we don't take advantage of the opportunities we get, that's our fault. But at the same time, we still will have those opportunities under the system we got. But under the new system, if they are just horrible, it's nothing you can do about it under the new system.
Well, Pastor, real quick, let me go. Let somebody else talk. I want to know, and I'm not just jumping around because I challenged Reverend Wright with the same thing. I want to know why, and we agree because we all Christians and God-fearing folks, why is it that we can't go down there and really make a difference in asking for prayer being put back in school and corporal punishment? I think that's a bigger fight. That's a better fight for us than to worry about what these white people or whoever is trying to do with trying to institute getting extra monies out of us. I think that's more of what is needed. We need to put prayer back in school and
okay.
I think that should be the argument.
Yeah, all right. Let me ask you something. What prayer is going to be prayed every morning?
Well, the same prayer as the Pledge of Allegiance is being said every morning.
No, what I'm saying is, what prayer? Are we going to have one morning we have a Muslim prayer? Next day they have a Shinto prayer. Next day they have a Hindu prayer. Next day they have a Christian prayer. What prayer is going to be prayed?
Whatever prayer you want to have, a moment of silence.
Well, now you said something different. Then you said a moment of silence. Okay. Well, I can agree to that. I can agree to that. A moment of silence. Yes. But what about the atheists? What about the atheists who don't even want that?
Well, he can have a moment of nothing. That's his problem. That's his thing. That's what he wants. I mean,
if he wants to scream and holler, look, hey, no prayer left school, man. Hey, have you ever, you taken those tests that you knew you had to pass?
Yes, sir.
What were you doing?
Praying.
Thank you. They haven't taken prayer. They cannot take prayer away from an individual. You can take prayer, corporate prayer out of the school, prayer in unison, different things. They can try to stop that. But if you want to pray, nobody can stop you from praying. While I'm sitting here talking to you, I might be praying.
Yeah, absolutely.
They can't do it. They can't do it, and I don't care how they try to say it.
If they allow you to assemble for anything else, pal, it's just the symbolism is what I'm looking at. They'll allow you to come out and talk about you can be gay and it's okay.
Right.
You ought to be able to pray and it's okay. I mean, openly pray and it's okay.
I'll agree to that. But at the same time, prayer is still there if your child has been taught. If your child go to church, your child come from a good, strong, religious home, your child is going to pray in a time of need, in an hour of need. It's going to happen. So, yeah. If he's
I agree with that, and that's the key. And I think what happened when we were coming up, Pastor Barnett, and it was something that we expected, and it's something that we saw all the time. And as a person learns, as a person sees, he learns. Some kids, parents don't even pray. But at least if you can come to school or go to church or somewhere else, and you know, and you see this happening on a reoccurring, you begin to kind of latch on to it. I mean, our kids are latching on every time.
Well, they might latch on to a particular religion that you don't like. See, there are so many variables. It's not as simple as ABC. All right.
It's right.
Thank you, Curtis. All right, 972. We got 1 minute. I tell you, let's go on to the break because I hate to interrupt our callers and see that all the lines are stand jab. Okay? We'll be right back. All right, you're back on Church Information and Open Forum. I'm Marian Barnett, your host, and y'all really the host, and y'all host me into your homes, your cars, and wherever. And I thank you for it. And you can reach me at 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 3. Let's try to see if we can get Mookie this time. All righty? Mookie, are you there?
I'm right here. Yes, sir, I'm right here.
All right, go right ahead.
I want to thank you for having this man that came on talking about domestic violence and this Kelly movement or act that he's trying to get passed.
Are you talking about Reverend Wright?
I didn't know who he was, and I didn't know what Tuesday he was talking about. And that's why I'm calling.
That's this Tuesday.
This Tuesday where?
I tell you what, we have to get the announcement out, but more than likely it will be in the Oak Cliff area at the Zane Tower. But I don't want to give you the.
I see.
He and I will talk later today. And we'll get all the information together. We'll try to get it out.
And how will women hear the information and where to go on what to? Because anytime you talk about domestic violence, you have to realize there's so many women that have been affected by that in one way or the other. Our ears perk up. So now we want the conclusion. Where do we go?
We will try to get the information out. In fact, we might do a press conference before that, but this will probably end up being a press conference because this young lady died needlessly, the one he's talking about. Not only
we're very aware of that. Domestic violence women know the whole story backwards and forwards. And so that's why whenever you get that information, please make it public so we can hear where to show up.
We definitely will.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Reverend Wright, if you listen, give me, you can't get in right now, but try to get me a call. Give me a call. We'll talk if I can try to get in before the hour's up so you can get some clarification on this. Obviously, this young lady needed some clarification. All right. 972-647-1893, 972-647-1893. Let's go to James on line 4. All righty. All right. James. All right. Good morning, James.
Yes, sir. Good morning. I'm going to try to say some quick things.
Yeah.
Not be as long-winded, but on that Kennedy alert, we may need to get there in Dallas the new Black Panther parties to get back out there and be on guard if the police are going to respond in time. Let me say these other things right quick, Reverend Barnett, instead of trying to get into a discussion that's taking up for the time. But here's some other concerns also. That home rule charter paper in the Dallas newspaper, Metro section, Tuesday, March 11th, there's 2 stories in there under the education column. One talks about the Imagine 2020 and A effort, and then to the right of it, it has the trustee clarifies role on the charter on this home rule thing. And the thing about that is there's a billionaire out of Houston. I've been keeping up with this from the distance. that there's a concern that this guy's going to be a financier of that very thing.
He is. His name is John Arnold, and he finished school, they tell me, in Dallas, but he's a billionaire. They say he made about $3 billion off of Enron right before it collapsed.
Oh, boy, there you have it right there.
So,
but also, this group that's called Support Our Public Schools, I have concern for that, but I've been reading it quite a bit. Let me give these other things. On that limited speech at City Hall, that's a concern that the Attorney General, you may have to visit with them, because next door to you in Dallas, over there in Duncanville, the city council over there, there's a charter challenge going on over there about the majority vote versus the two-thirds vote on sitting there rules over there.
Right.
And that's a grave concern, because for them to change y'all being able to speak once a month and just for 3 minutes, the subject could require more time and everything. So
that's wrong. That's wrong, because you pay your taxes every day. All right.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm forever looking into the Attorney General, and we'll be planning on joining the Justice Seekers soon, and we're going to be helping you out and doing a lot of research work. Here's another concern. Here in Palestine, the same way it is about those two-thirds votes in majority, we have 7 people. Well, yeah, 7 people. 5 of them are white and 2 are black down here. So blacks are always outvoted, outgunned down here. So they very seldom get anything done. You know, because they're outgunned. We have a black guy, the NAACP president down here, running to take the place of this white guy that used to help the black city council people. So hopefully he'll get in there. And Mr. Chris Shaw, been keeping up with your efforts, so keep it up. And if we can help out in any way, we'll be visiting back and forth to help each other out. And as far as that, what you had about how they were treating y'all on some other issues, we can look into the Attorney General and get some opinions to help out with you whenever we can. You can have my number and all, and I'll be calling you, and we'll talk off the air about these concerns.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, James.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
All right. All right. Let's bring on Reverend Wright. We got him back on. Good. Preacher, you there?
Hey, Pastor. Yeah, let me just tell the young lady and announce to everybody to give them my number. They can call Justice Seekers. That number is 214-779-3549. The funeral arrangement for this Kelly is Tuesday, but I need to talk with him because we're putting together the petition to present to the Texas legislature. So I need as many women on board who can get these petitions filled out and signed. And the more signatures we get, the more pressure that our representatives statewide will have to go ahead and present this thing. And hopefully this thing will go national so women can be protected all over the United States.
Okay, now, where will the funeral be this Tuesday?
The funeral is going to be at IBOP, Inspiring Body of Christ, of Pastor Ricky Rush.
All right. And what time will it be Tuesday?
I think it's 11 o'clock, Pastor. I'm sorry. I didn't check and find out. But it will be the Inspiring Body of Christ, so they can call. And more than likely to be an 11 o'clock service.
Okay.
But then again, like I said, call Justice Seekers at 214-779-3549. We need as many people involved to help get these petitions signed so we can present it to our state representatives.
Okay, then. Thank you, Preacher.
Thank you, Pastor. All right, thank you.
All right, there's the line, 972-647-1893, 972-647-1893. I need some, Liv. Yeah. She's helping someone here in the studio that's giving us some money, and we're trying to get these lines moving. All right, let's see here. Let me see. Good morning. You're on KNON.
Hello?
Yes, go right ahead.
Yeah. Hey, Reverend Barnett, how you doing?
Yeah, is this Ike?
No, this is Joe.
All right, Joe, go right ahead.
All right. Look, just as you were saying about that home rule situation, that's a bad idea, very bad idea. The status quo is concerned about money. There's a lot of money to be managed and contracts and what have you, from pest control contract to fuel for the buses, parts for the buses, roofing material, painting of the schools, and the beat goes on.
Wouldn't you like to have the whole horticulture contract, just cutting the lawns?
I know a lady out of state, she got caught, she was a benefit of that. She was well connected. She got about 15 schools she write insurance for. She didn't have to hustle a single premium holder because she just go around these schools and she just rakes in the money. She's a friend of my family, and she's not the color that we are, but that's through her, and she's doing it on minority schools, never had a child out there. That thing is about money, as you said. The status quo is concerned about money. They're not concerned about these children. In these public schools, what they really need, well, one of the things, there are many, but they need more order out there. You go and visit some of these classrooms, these children are so out of control, it takes a teacher about 20 to 30 minutes to take the roll. The average class period is not but about 45 minutes, so how can you teach when you got to argue with kids about shutting off their cell phones and setting their dial tones, all this kind of mess? But this status quo, talking about taking over and doing home rule, that's about money. They want to control those purse strings. Last but not least, and well, they also doing it with cities. You got monitors in these depressed cities. They're coming in and doing the same thing. They're taking over. It's just a big money sweep. That's all it is. But my final question is to you, what is our so-called caring / informed black leadership having to say or do about that? And I get off the phone.
I wish I knew who they were. They're not doing anything because a lot of our leaders, just about all of them, well, they have their hands in the mayor's pocket, the Mag Rollins' pocket. So how in the world are you going to speak against something that you're making money off? That's many of our leaders. I just hate to tell you that, but it is true. Believe me, when we still make mistakes in choosing leaders, but at the same time, you still have the right to make the mistake. I keep saying that. But we do need to do a better job of choosing those who we choose to represent us. We do a very poor job. People pop up out of nowhere. They have no record of working in the community or doing anything to help anybody, but we turn around and vote for these people because the power structure get a lot of money and put it behind them and tell you this is who you need to represent you. This is what's going on. All right, 972-647-1893. Let's go. Who's next? Which line is that? We've done Joe. Let's go to Ike on line 4. All right. Good morning, Ike.
Good morning, Rev Barnett.
Fine. How are you this morning?
Doing great. I'm going to try to make it quick because I know a lot of people like to get their comments about this home rule.
Right.
And I just want to touch on two things about that. One of them is I'm so surprised so many teachers don't know about it. But if we go back and look at what happened with Mike Miles, now I read an article about Mike Miles saying that he wasn't for it or he wasn't against it, but he been teaming up with the mayor.
Don't believe that. Don't believe that. You know, he's the mayor's hand boy. Come on, please.
Right. But you got to understand this. One of the schools that I talked to the teacher at was, I'm not going to call the name of the school, but they put a replacement principal up there, which probably come out of that little old thing over on Buckner where Mike Miles was training these principals to come in and take over these schools. So just maybe they trained them not to say nothing about this because this ain't just happened overnight.
No. They've been working on this for a while, and maybe as long as 2 or 3 years.
But the teachers out of all people ought to be well informed about this, and they're not. And another thing is, if we read the paper, there's a big issue with the Justice Department about this zero tolerance, and they got an article about how these preschoolers, 4 and 5-year-olds, are being expelled from schools at a high rate. And they're saying that what they're doing is, at the age of 4 years old, your kid has already created some kind of record. Well,
that's true.
Put out of school. So
well, see, they're moving to put the preschoolers, and they are doing it, into public schools. But what they're doing, a lot of preschoolers, a lot of these preschoolers that's going to public schools, they're going to end up with a criminal record at 4 years old.
At 4 years old?
At 4 years old. I'm just telling you. People, you better wake up and watch and see what's going on. You better watch. They're going to brand your child before your child even can truly even understand a lot of things right from wrong. They're going to brand your child.
Right. I'm going to go, but I'm going to say this right here. I want to thank the Carl Ranger, the school board trustee, for really just informing people, letting us know what's going on. I want to give kudos to her and say God bless and have a good day.
All right, thank you. All right, let's go to line 2 and let's get our job line in and say good morning to Mr. Greg Barber. Good morning, Greg.
Good morning, Rev Barnett.
How are you this morning?
Doing fine.
Were you satisfied with that meeting the other night?
No, I was not. That meeting was
I think we were tricked, weren't we?
Yes, we were. It was, and I'm going to say this. It was much like the mayor's race relations meeting.
Right.
At the first one I went to, they said, we want you to email your questions in. As soon as you walked in the building, you lost cellular connection. You lost wireless connection. So that was a fix, and so was this. They gave you the smallest index card they could find, and anybody really asking an in-depth question.
It wasn't enough room to put it on there.
You don't have room to put it on there. It was a fix.
I had a feeling that was coming down anyway, but I just went on. I went over there just to see what was going on. Yeah.
But it seems like they got now. I never did hear about that third meeting, but from the two I saw, it seems like they got rebuffed quite roughly in both places, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
The folks stood up all across Dallas, so that was a good thing. And this is something we're going to have to stand up for.
But what they're counting on is they're going to try to turn the thinking of North Dallas to accept this, and hopefully North Dallas can vote down the rest of Dallas. This is what's really coming down the pipe.
Well, who is this Jason B. Alba guy? Is he out of Dallas or state representative?
Yeah, he's out of Dallas.
And he's the one that brought this here?
Well,
he's the one that's bringing it up.
Well, no, it's a guy, John Arnold, out of Houston. He's a billionaire, and he's financing this whole thing because they really want to take over the public school systems all over America. This is the trial run. This is the test run. This is the trial balloon that's going up. Dallas is being used, and they feel like if Dallas fall, the rest of them will fall in line.
All right. Let me get the job line in this morning on our SAT job line solutions in action. Today's job line brought to you every Saturday morning during church information and open forum here on Knon 89.3, the voice of the people. This morning on the job line, we have GDKN Corporation, the customer service representative, asking you to apply online at www.gdkn.com. Once again, that web address is www.gdkn.com. Shield Healthcare is looking for customer service representative. They're asking you to apply online at www.shield, S-H-I-E-L-D, healthcare.com. Once again, that web address is www.shieldhealthcare.com. Envisioning Imaging System is looking for patient services representatives. They're asking you to apply online at www.careers.envrad.com. Once again, that web address is www.careers.envrad.com. Hospira is looking for warehouse representatives. They're asking you to apply online at www.hospira.com. Once again, that web address is www.hospira.com. Kinchelo Oil Company is looking for warehouse positions. They're asking you to email your resume to TYE at kincheloil.com, or you can apply Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at 2717 Satsuma, that's SATSUMA Drive, Dallas, Texas. Once again, that email address to email your resume is Ty. You can email it to Ty, T-Y-E, at Kinchelo Oil, that's KINCHELOEOIL.com. Once again, let me spell that. That's Ty, T-Y-E, at Kinchelo Oil. That's KINCHELOEOIL.com. Or you can apply in person Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at 2717 Satsuma, SATSUMA Drive, Dallas, Texas. If you are a child-loving, patient, energetic individual and would like to work in a daycare setting, The number for inquiry is 972-290-4995. Once again, if you are a child-loving patient, an energetic individual, and would like to work in the daycare setting, the number for inquiry is 972-290-4995. If you are a person affected by addiction and need assistance with your recovery efforts, or an ex-offender trying to make the transition back in the mainstream society and need assistance for job search, the number for inquiry is 214-634-2722. Once again, if you are a person affected by addiction and need assistance for job searches, or an ex-offender trying to make the transition back to the mainstream society, you need assistance for job search. The number for inquiry is 214-634-2722. Today is a good day if you're looking for a job to find one. Let me repeat that. Today is a good day if you're looking for a job to find one. Today is also a great day to get out to your senatorial caucus meetings today and make your voices heard to your elected officials. Today is the day of the senatorial caucus meeting. Remember those meetings that we flooded in the presidential election year? Those are happening today. For Senator Royce West District, it is at Lancaster High School, begins at 10 a.m. This is where you can talk to your elected officials, those seeking office. This is where you can let your voices be heard. Let's get out and represent ourselves today. And with that, we bring our SAT job line to a close.
All right, thank you, Greg. Great job as always. Great job, Mr. Greg Barber and our SAT job line. We got to get out of here. Got to get out. We got to run. One more time. The play will be April 13th, Awakening of a Fashion Opera. April 13th at the Majestic Theater, 4 p.m. All right, call them. You can get a contact www.thefashionopera.com. I'm Marian Barnett, your host. I'm senior pastor of Heavenly Joy Church. We're located at Breeden and Masters. Come by and see us. Service again at 11 o'clock on Sunday morning, Sunday school 9:30. Okay, y'all have a wonderful, wonderful week. Thank you, dear, for producing, and may the Lord bless you and keep you. Have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.
KNON 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people.
Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. KNON's been named the #1 radio station in Dallas by both the Dallas Observer and D Magazine. Put your business with Dallas's #1 station. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227, or extension 233. For more information, go to KNON.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.